Do you ever feel like your brain just won't stop? You replay conversations, you imagine worst case scenarios, you worry about what people think, and no matter how hard you try, you can't switch it off. But what if overthinking isn't your problem? What if it is actually a symptom of something much deeper? And what if overthinking is not a thinking problem at all? Hi, I am Antonette Schminke, and if you've ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations, imagine every possible outcome, worrying about what might happen tomorrow, or wondering what other people think about you, then this video is for you. Today I want to answer one simple question, and that is, why do I overthink everything? Because once you understand why, you'll stop fighting your mind and start working with it. So let's be honest. Overthinking is exhausting. Your body can be in a sitting still motion, but your mind never ever stops moving. And one thought becomes another, and then another, and then another, and you replay conversations, you imagine these worst case scenarios, and you analyze every decision, and you wonder if you said the wrong thing, or you think about something that hasn't even happened yet. And somehow, before the day has even begun, you are already emotionally exhausted. So if that is you, I want you to put it in the comments, and I want you to know that you are not crazy. You are not weak, and you are certainly not the only one. So here's what I want you to remember throughout this entire video. Overthinking is not a thinking problem, it is a clarity problem. So when we lack clarity, we experience uncertainty. And when we experience uncertainty, our brain begins searching for certainty. And that is when this overthinking begins. So, let's pause for clarity. Most people believe that if they think about something long enough, they will eventually feel certain. But certainty is not something that you will ever fully arrive at. Why? Because life doesn't work that way. You are never going to wake up one morning and know exactly what tomorrow is going to bring. Life is a journey, and it unfolds one moment at a time. And the only place that you ever truly live is right here, is right now. You are only ever in this present moment. But overthinking constantly pulls you out of this present moment and into an imaginary future. Because what does it whisper? It whispers, what if this happens? Or what if this goes wrong? Or what if you get rejected? And the future becomes a place for your mind to visit over and over again, even though you've never actually been there. So just think about it. Now, let's understand what your brain is actually doing. Your brain has two very important jobs. We know that already. It is to predict and to protect. And it constantly scans your environment, asking, what is the safest thing to do? The problem is your brain doesn't only use facts, but it also uses past experiences. And if you've been rejected before, it predicts rejection again. And if you've failed before, well, it prepares for failure again. And if you've been hurt before, it assumes hurt is around the corner. So your brain would rather prepare you for a danger that never comes than to miss one that does. So that is not because your brain is broken. It is because your brain is trying to keep you safe. But sometimes what once protected you now keeps you trapped. So here's something fascinating. Your brain doesn't just collect information, it actually tells stories. Someone doesn't reply to your message, well, your mind says, oh, they must be upset with me. Or your boss asks to speak to you, and what do you think immediately? Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Or somebody maybe just looks away while you are talking. What does your brain say? Oh, you are so boring. So the question to then really ask is, but are those facts or are those stories? Because your brain is an incredible storyteller. And the question is it telling the truth? So let me give you an example. This is a story I like to talk about. So imagine this family, they are sitting around a dinner table, and the wife is sharing the story. And suddenly she notices that her mother-in-law is pulling her face. That's all, just a slight expression. Dinner ends, and on the way to bed, she tells her husband, you know what, I knew that your mother does not like me. Did you see her face when I spoke about that story? I must have said something wrong. And then an argument follows, and then feelings are hurt, assumptions are made, but what actually happened? Earlier that week, this mother-in-law had recovered from a stomach bug. And during dinner, she felt this familiar pain in her stomach and worried that it must be coming back. So the expression had absolutely nothing to do with her daughter-in-law. So in that one tiny moment, there were two completely different stories. So how often do we do the exact same thing? We don't respond to what happened. We respond to the story that we've created about what happened. So this is why I encourage my clients to become curious, not judgmental, curious. So instead of saying, why am I thinking this? You can ask, oh, but that's interesting. Where did this thought come from? Or what is my brain trying to protect me from? So curiosity creates space, and judgment creates shame, and shame keeps the cycle going. So another form, or one of the biggest forms of overthinking is this. I am worried about what people think of me. But are you really? Are you worried? No, you are worried about what you think they are thinking about you. So it is still your own mind creating the story. It is still about you. And you cannot know what somebody else is thinking. But your brain doesn't like blank spaces, so it fills them in, usually with fear. Now, the Bible tells us that the battlefield is the mind. So think about it. The enemy doesn't need hundreds of lies. Sometimes he only needs one thought. So what if you fail? You are not enough. They are going to reject you. Don't take that risk. It's one thought. And if we never question it, we begin building our lives around it. So strongholds aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they are simply ideas we've believed for so long, and they feel like it is the truth. But feeling true doesn't make something true. And here is the truth. Your overthinking is not protecting your future. It is often only delaying it. Because while you're waiting until you feel completely certain, well, life keeps moving. Your calling keeps waiting. Your opportunities keep passing. Because confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence grows because of action. And here's a secret. Nobody's got life figured out. I promise you that. And the people who move forward aren't the ones with all the answers. They are the ones willing to take the next step with the light that they have today. So for this week, I want you to ask yourself 3 simple questions whenever you catch yourself overthinking. Number 1, what actually happened? At number 2, what story am I telling myself about this? And then number 3, is that story true? Or is it simply my brain trying to protect me? So those 3 questions alone can begin changing the way that you think. You don't need to know your entire future to take your next step. You don't need absolute certainty. You need clarity. Clarity doesn't tell you everything. It simply helps you to see what is true. And when you know the truth, you can stop living in this imagined stories and you can start living in the present moment. That is what we are aiming for. So when your life is actually happening. So if this message helped you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So tell me, what is one story that you've caught yourself believing that wasn't actually true? You never know. Your honesty might help somebody else to realize that they are not alone.